Well, hello folks, back out in Perrin today. And as you can see from the drive-in, man, it's really needs to be mowed. It's been a while since I've been out here, maybe a month, a little over a month. And by looking at the grass, you would think I hadn't been out here in a year. This stuff grows fast this early in the spring. So what I got in the agenda for today is I've got to work on the 1720 tractor. Last time I was out here mowing, we had a problem with it. I'll show you that in a second. And also, the last time I was out here, I found a nest in the basement of the trailer. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So right behind this is a heater, one of the two that's on this trailer. And I was going to check them out. I was going to use them that weekend that I was out here, and I found a big nest inside of here. Boy, there's not much left. So when I dug around in there, I could see the backs of a couple of furry little animals, and I thought they were big rats. And when I went to pull it out, I grabbed it with a pair of needle nose that I had to put in the trash, that all this extra insulation I was putting in the trash was in. So when I grabbed it with the pair of needle nose I had, it was screaming at me like a child, and I was fixing to throw it inside the trash can, and it turned out that it was a baby squirrel. And I got a soft spot in my heart for little squirrels. And its mama made a nest in there where there were 3 of them in there. So initially I thought I'd probably killed it when I put it in there. After a few hours, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna look in that trash can down there in the bottom and see if I can find it. Maybe it's not dead. If it is dead, I'll give it a better burial than the trash can. When I got in that trash can and looked for it, it was still alive and it didn't look hurt at all. So I grabbed him, put him in a box, put him down there with his brothers or sisters, and left him in there. And as you can see right now, there's hardly any insulation in them. There was a lot in there. So I'm not sure what the mama squirrel did with the insulation, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean it out here in a minute and make sure there's nothing left in there. There's no way to seal that off any better. I need to find out how the squirrel was getting in from the bottom of the trailer and getting in there and bringing that stuff in. So the other thing is I set a bunch of mouse traps in there, glue traps, and sure enough, here in the basement of the trailer, there's several of them dead. Those mice, that's where they find their way in everywhere, especially when I'm not out here that often. And so I need to clean that mess up and then go inside the shop. And I've got some traps set up there too. But let's get started. So before we start to work on this Ford, let me tell you a little story here real quick and why all these tools are out here. If you look back a little while, I had a video where I showed the old Bobcat was leaking a bunch of hydraulic fluid out of it. And I put it off to fix it. I wasn't sure where it was leaking from. And after I discovered where it was leaking from, it was going to be in the most impossible spot to fix anything on that. Let me show you where that was at. It was on the spool valve back in here. Let me get a flashlight. Right inside of here is the spool valve. And I'll put a picture up of that spool valve and exactly where the hose is. So you can see right here in this picture, I got the circle right there where that hose goes in the bottom of it. And it's part of the hoses that work the bucket. I don't remember if it was the lift arm bucket. I think it was for the lift arms. And that spool valve controls the bucket tilt and the arms being raised up and down, as well as these 2 front ports on it to operate the grapple. So after taking the top and bringing it back, I was able to get down in there to it, just barely reaching with just one hand and laying flat across the top with a piece of wood across here. This was the most difficult mechanical thing I've done in my life, and I've done a lot of stuff. And right here you see this picture of the Cooper when I had it apart. I rebuilt the motor in it, and that was nothing compared to putting that one hose on. So I ended up having to buy an array of different tools to try to make this happen. 1 inch was the size of the hose that needed to come off there, the fitting on it. And here is that hose. This was the part on the very bottom that I had to get to on that spool valve. I was able to take the top part off easily, and after trying to put a crow's foot wrench on this to get it off, like I say, it's way back up in there. I ended up buying a whole set of 3/8 and 1/2 inch crow's foot wrenches. Not sure what I was going to need to get down in there, so I just bought these 2 sets. Pretty handy though. Some various adapters in case I needed them, because I was out here one time messing with it and I didn't have a way to adapt from a 3/8 to a 1/2 inch. Brought several 1-inch sockets after I determined that it was a 1-inch fitting right here. Here's, I bought this extension to give me some leverage on it. Varying different, oh my goodness, I brought a whole bunch of things out here from the house to try to get to it. Neighbor Mark was helping me on this. He was doing a bunch of the original stuff, laying over it, and I was kind of showing him what needed to be done. And he was trying to get down there to get this piece off right here. I ended up cutting the hose off of here because we could not get it loose using just the crow's foot on here to get it off. It would not budge. So I cut this with a cutoff saw, and we tried varying ways to put a socket on this so that we could put an extension off of it and get it out of there. And none of that worked. We couldn't get to it. The frame was touching the bottom. It was just in such a tough spot to get, you could not get to it. So at that point I had determined my best option is to take the spool valve out, and so I can get it on the bench and work on it. I came out here and I was going to pull it out. I started taking everything off I can get to. Like I say, on the top end, you can't barely reach it on the top. From the back side, you can't even reach it if you just put one arm in there and try to grab a hold of it. So I started getting all the hoses off of it. A lot of them were hard metal hoses that you could kind of tweak out of the way. And then after I got all that off there, there was one more hose left to get off, and it goes behind the motor. And I was unable to get that thing loose. There was just no way to get it off. It was the second from the bottom one up on that spool valve. And I decided there was no way I'm going to be able to get that spool valve out of there to do this. So I was not going to be able to put a seal kit in it. Didn't really need it, but I figured if I had it out anyway. Oh, so when I decided I wasn't going to pull it out, after I got the very lower hose off of there, I was able to kind of get to that lower hose that I had cut off and get a socket on it to get it off of there. Everything had to come off of that spool valve. And like in this picture, you can see all of these ports that are on it. Every one of the hoses that went into the ports, except for the second from the bottom, was off. That enabled me to take the fitting on the bottom the hose went to and thread it out. And it was a puzzle getting it back together because you had to do it in reverse order so that you could put wrenches on these things. It was one of the hardest things that I've ever done, I'm telling you. Hope I don't ever have to do that again. All the other hoses are easy to get to, except for the bottom one that was bad. So while I was at it, there was an upper one that matched it. I replaced it as well. So I got 2 new hoses on it. I gave it a good bath, cleaned it all out, filled it up with fluid, and it seems to work really well. But today what I want to do is I'm going to work on the old 1720. Beautiful tractor my dad gave me a while back, and there's some other videos of stuff I've done on it before. So after mowing out here a month ago, when I came inside and parked it, it was leaking what I thought was hydraulic fluid. And I was like, come on, I'm tired of hydraulic fluid. And when I went over there to it, I got some rags, put it down underneath it. Also put this little catch can underneath it. And when I smelled it, immediately I could tell it was diesel fuel. Okay, that's going to be a little more manageable for me instead of another hydraulic hose or whatever. And on this one, it probably wouldn't be so hard unless it was something major. So I saw that it was leaking somewhere around this filter. Anyway, I shut the valve off right there on the filter and it stopped leaking. So that tells me it's on this side of this filter assembly, because this other side right here, it actually goes into the fuel tank, which is right up in the middle of this area, right up in here. So I didn't have any hoses or anything to replace this hose with here. And I thought, you know, while I'm at it, I might as well take the filter off and change it as well. So I bought a bunch of stuff to put on there, a new filter, hoses, some proper clamps for it. So I'll need to get the fuel out of here and then change all that out. So let's get started on it. All right, so I think I can drain the gas tank from this side right here. I've got this shut off, and I'll take this hose off here, put a short piece of hose down into a recovery tank there, and we'll empty the fuel tank out, and then we'll replace all this hose. Cracked on that deal. All right, let's try something different here. It's like that filter housing is cracked. I do not see any cracks at all in that. It may not be leaking from there. I don't know. This new one has a new housing for it anyway. It's pretty cheap on Amazon. So I'm not sure if I was recording when I put that filter on, but I put the filter on and it started leaking out of this hose here. So when I turned it on, here's where it's leaking from, out this little, I don't know what this hose is off the top of this filter. Maybe an overflow of some kind, vent hose. And it goes up into this cowling right here and back out. And I was just going to cut this off and put it back on it, but if you look at it a little closer, it's got a lot of cracking in it. Let's change that out real quick. I'll just take this cowling off. That right there. It's got to slide out. Interesting. I've had this open before, but there's a bird nest in there. Check that out. Oh, it's a return back to the gas tank, of course. Thankfully, when I was ordering some of the other hoses, I thought I'll order some smaller fuel line hoses in case I need it out here for anything. And sure enough, I do. Oh, come on. That hose is a little big for this grommet. See if I've got one here. Yeah, that works good. Yeah, that's a smaller size hose I have, and that actually works better. I think I'll change that one out too. And I ruined that grommet. Of course, I don't have any grommets. I might be able to slip a piece of hose around the outer part of that fuel line. All right, so I cut a piece of 3/8 hose, for that to fit in that hole. Let me see if I can get this in there. No, that'll work perfect. There we go. Cool. All right, let's let that drain. So I was a little curious about this hose right here not going to anything. I looked right back inside of here, and on the end of this last fuel injector, there's no hose on it, and it looks to be where this one was supposed to go. See if I can get a little more light on that. Yeah, right there on the end of that. I think that's where it's supposed to go, but I'm going to hook it up to that. All right, that looks good. There we go.